Hey guys, Dread here. So I thought I'd just do a little video. Had a few questions in the Discord. Thought I would make a little video responding to them because I can't be asked to type, and that's really the reason why we're doing this. Why we're doing this video. I can't be asked to type. It's way too hot, man. It's way too hot. The questions are: the first one was from Ricius. So we had Ricius say, "Hey Dread, you mentioned you bought some properties for rental income. I'm hoping this is where my journey leads. I couldn't care less about luxuries, etc. I just want time and freedom. Was wondering if you could pass on any knowledge on what's best to invest in property wise to maximize passive income. Would really appreciate it. Thank you." So yeah, so I'm not an expert when it comes to like property or rentals or anything like that. I just kind of did something that works for me and what I felt like was the right thing to do. And the direction that I went in was flats. So I guess it would be kind of similar to apartments in America if you're American, but like flats and apartments. And the reason why I did that was because one, it was a little bit cheaper. Obviously, buying a house, you need a lot more capital to buy just one of them. To buy property, like flats or apartments or anything, you don't need as much. So I went down that route, and I bought flats that were in areas that weren't too expensive. So there's a place near here. It's a bit far out from where I live, but it's on the cheaper end of the country, obviously. And it's not the greatest area. It's not the most it's not like high luxury living or anything like that. It's maybe some people would say it's a little bit run down and stuff like that. But it's an area that is improving. It's an area that is on the up, I would say. But it's not a great area at all. I come from a background where you don't live in the greatest areas and stuff like that. So that's where I decided to buy some property and bought some flats. And the reason why I did that was, if you buy a house and you invest in, just one single house, and that person who is renting the house from you and is providing you with your income, if that person decides to leave for whatever reason, you're out of pocket. You don't have any income coming in, and it's a problem. And if you're living rental income to rental income on the monthly basis, then that's going to be an issue, and you have to find a new tenant and you have to get them in and stuff like that. And you can work with agencies to kind of minimize that stuff, but that's the reality. The reason why I went with flats was because if you say that you had 5 flats or 4 flats, if one of those tenants decides to leave or move on, or they're hard work and you need to evict them for whatever reason, you still have 3 tenants paying. So your income will take a little bit of a hit, but not too much. It will take a tiny bit, and the rest of the income will still be coming in. So that's the reason I went with flats in the first place. So that I can't speak for what's the best strategy, but I can only speak to what I've done. And that's kind of where I'm at. It was a little bit cheaper to start off, didn't need as much capital, and even if you did have enough capital to get a house, I went with the flats way anyway, to kind of diversify it across different properties, and then to mitigate any issues in terms of like tenants leaving and stuff like that, or any issues that way. So that's kind of what I was thinking of there. So the next one was from Fran M4. Just seeing your tweet, you definitely align with the idea. Most of the next cycles, 50x or 100x's, aren't even out there yet. So what is the tweet? Let me have a look. Let's have a look what the tweet was. Most projects will never revisit their all-time highs, just like most from 2017 didn't. They slowly bleared out over time, floated into obscurity due to an ever-evolving space. You have to work hard to find those who are capable of pushing back to all-time highs thanks to their fundamentals. And it was this picture here, which is was from 2000. It was actually from 2018. It was actually from 2018, not 2017. But the most of the pump was in 2017. And we got loads of coins in there that probably you guys who are new to the space will never have heard of. But these were big. These are coins that went quite far back in 2017, 18. Obviously, you got Bitcoin. Verge was a classic one in that run. BitConnect obviously was a was a literal Ponzi scheme. Amise Go, which is still around doing its thing. Populous was one that got pretty big. Dentacoin, which was literally a coin about dentists, like dentistry on the blockchain, and it became a multi-billion-dollar project. So you got to, you know, that is ridiculous in itself. Status Ardor, I don't know where Ardor is anymore. Steam was like a social media one. That was quite highly, people thought that that was going to be the next Reddit type of thing. Komodo was one that everyone loved back in the day. And Dragon Chain had like an association with Disney, but then they kind of didn't, and there was a lot of that kind of fuckery. Kin, which I think was the Telegram one, that might not be right. I think it was. Electronium, which are still doing things with like the Digital Pound Foundation now, and yeah, so a lot of projects there that you guys probably don't even fucking know about, but they were there back in the day. So a lot of these projects never revisited their all-time high. Never, ever, ever. Never got close. A lot of them just floated into obscurity. A lot of the teams disbanded. And some of them were literal Ponzi schemes like BitConnect. So you have to be careful with that stuff. And yeah, I guess going back to the question from Fran, you definitely align with the idea that most of the next cycles, 50x to 100x, aren't even out there yet. I wouldn't say most. I don't think most. I think the reality that some of them are, yes, just because they're starting from such a lower point of view and from a lower valuation, they'll have that kind of, if they're starting from like a 1 million market cap and they're a new project, then yeah, maybe a 50 to 100x is totally realistic. And the reason why I invested in Quant back in the day in 2018 was because they wasn't part of the last cycle. They wasn't part of the cycle from 2017. They didn't go for any of that. So there was none of that kind of people underwater. There was none of that stigma from the last cycle. It was kind of fresh and born in the bear market. And I like those sorts of projects. That's why the project that I like at the moment, the one that is kind of you'll start to know about the more that you rank up in the Bongomentals Discord, this new project, it hasn't really been affected by that past cycle. So I think some of them, yes, I think you're right there. I wouldn't say most of them. I think there's so many projects out there at the moment that have gone up in valuation during the bull market, and then kind of drop back down and at low valuations for their potential, or even just where they should be right now. There's some real opportunities out there, and Morpheus Network, you can see it right over here somewhere. Morpheus Network is one of those. Morpheus Network is a project that is super undervalued right now. Super undervalued. When you're talking getting down to 20 million market cap for a project who are working with some big companies like Coca-Cola and DHL, it's an opportunity and it presents itself. Quant is obviously defying the markets right now. I really like Checked. If you understand where the future of SSIs and self-sovereign identity, you understand where Checked places within that, and look at their relationship with Evonym. If you don't know who Evonym is, I suggest looking them up and their relationship with Avast and Norton Antivirus, and where they all kind of fits in with that and self-sovereign identity. I highly recommend looking into that. And there's a bunch of projects. There's a bunch of projects that have gone up in valuation, maybe got a bit overcooked at the time, come back down, but they're still building, they're still growing, and they deserve to be higher. And the projects that I look for are the ones that will these either return to all-time highs, or will they enter top 100, top 50 in the future? Because most of these projects are now outside the top 500 and stuff like that. That's what I look for, and I'm confident in the ones that I'm looking at or I'm backing and stuff like that. So like Aleph Zero, for example, another project that hasn't really been affected by the past cycle. It did to an extent. It launched at the end of it, so that's not really fair to say. But Fran, to your question, I think some of them will be born now, and just not all of them, not most of them. Sorry. Um, yeah. So there you go. There's two answers to two questions. If you got any more questions, let me know, and I'll make some more videos and chuck it up in the Discord for you guys. So hope you're having a good day. In the UK, it's going to be fucking hot tomorrow. Apparently, it's going to be 40 degrees Monday and Tuesday. And that is the hottest day on record. It's the hottest day we've ever had, if that happens. I think the hottest day we had was like 37. And now we're going to be 40 degrees, which is fucking nuts. So I think that might be the hottest heat that I've ever felt. So hope everyone's having a good day. If you're in the UK, try and survive that shit. And yeah, you got any more questions, just chuck them in Discord. We'll talk it out.